Are you making the middle classes pay? Is this a budget for voters or MPs? Is the cabinet behind this?
I can't see them as yet, but yes, I've had a quick look at them. Yep. Yeah, talking. Yeah. Okay.
Are you shouting at that?
Right.
What are you shouting? Is it make or break? Save Starmer. Nice. Nice alliterative vibes there. See what you're doing. Nice.
Morning, sir. This is a working class budget. Won't be long right now.
Do you want Andy in for the proposal?
Yeah. Go around this way.
Is this a budget for MPs or voters?
Do you want me to put this one? No. Yes, please. Oh, I see, okay.
Will this budget save Starmer? Are you making the middle classes pay?
Very well, thank you. George? Yeah. Is that in my back? Is that your back there?
Is the welfare bill being cut? You make the middle classes pay for this?
Life from down the street, I'm Christian Fraser. Can we just have a quick run through? Life from down the street, I'm Christian Fraser. This is... Who's on auto cue?
Right.
Wait, that's the first question.
Fine, if
Is that because you'd have to stand and pretend to look interested?
our energy bill is going to get cut. Middle class is paying for this.
Just check that this was right. Naomi, are you? Can you scroll up and down? Yeah. Okay. Hi. Yeah. Can you just have a quick run through to make sure this all works? Okay. Happy.
Yeah, I'll talk about
Life
this
is down
one.
the street. I'm Christian Fraser. This is
The economy. It's
the cabinet meeting is underway here in Downing Street ahead of Rachel.
growth is pretty weak. I will talk at this level, maybe this level if I get to speak.
The cabinet meeting is underway here. Yep.
Stop it.
It's got to mix it. We're mixing it here. All right. Yeah, they were just testing guest line. Okay. Okay. How are you doing? Live from the All right. Live from Downing Street, I'm Christian Fraser. This is BBC News. The Cabinet meeting is underway here in Downing Street ahead of Rachel Reeve's budget announcement this afternoon, in which she will lay out her tax and spending plans to Parliament. We will have special coverage. Chancellor says she will make fair and necessary choices to ease the cost of living, but will it be enough to ease the concerns of the markets? A bit slow for me. Just scroll a bit quicker. Can't get Lewis. Yeah. All right. Okay. Live from Downing Street, I'm Christian Fraser. This is BBC News. The Cabinet meeting is underway here in Downing Street ahead of Rachel Reeve's budget announcement this afternoon, in which she will lay out her tax and spending plans to Parliament. We will have special coverage. The Chancellor says she will make fair and necessary choices to ease the cost of living, but will it be enough to ease the concerns of the markets?
Okay, so number 11.
Very good morning. It is budget day. We are in Downing Street, outside number 11, where in just a few hours' time, Chancellor Rachel Reeves will emerge and reveal to us the famous red box and the budget she hopes will shore up her position and that of the embattled Prime Minister. It is a cold, frosty morning here in London. The Cabinet Secretaries are just gathered in number 10 to hear what the budget will mean for each of their departments. And it does feel as if we've been through quite a few iterations of this budget already. There was the floating rise in income tax and then the rapid retreat from it. This week we've been trying for a whole smorgasbord of smaller tax rises to fill a £30 billion fiscal hole. Now, at the last budget, Rachel Reeves gave herself just a sliver of headroom, which always increases the risk that the Chancellor will be blown off course. And behind it all lies the central problem that the UK faces: weak growth, high spending, and in recent years some overly optimistic forecasting from the OBR. There will be a downgrade, we're told today, in the productivity forecast. This week, she asked the fractious left of the party to be patient and to back the whole package, not cherry-pick the parts that they like best. The question now is whether she can deliver something credible enough for the markets and reassuring enough for our own bank pensions. With me in Downing Street to guide us through the day, Nick and Andrew Veggie. Welcome to you both. Jeff, Mr. Chancellor, is in. This is a make or break.
I mean, it's make or break in the sense that if she gets this right, she might buy herself and the Prime Minister a bit more instead of the ship. How many times have we seen big questions about her future, about the Prime Minister's future, over unforced errors? A lot of MPs extremely unhappy with what's been going on behind both of these doors over the last few weeks. Is it the case that if this goes badly wrong, the Chancellor's done? Probably not immediately, in the sense that there isn't an obvious mechanism by which the Labour will start to change things. But be under no illusion, politically, this is a huge, huge moment. Being on the back view for months, we've struggled to set a narrative of what it wants to do with power. Today will be an attempt to change it. We've got a lot of the detail in there just now. I'm sure Rachel Reeves is giving them her pitch for why this is the budget we need to deliver. She's been doing that all week actually. On Monday when she was speaking to Backbench Labour and telling them this was going to be a budget that was difficult but necessary. I think that probably gives us a sense of where we're going to be this afternoon. There's going to be some stuff in there that's really unpopular. There's a lot of criticism over the next 24, 48 hours. But it feels, Christian, that when you look at what we know is in there, what we think is in there, and what might be in there, it feels like a budget that is aimed at Rachel Reeves' party. It's going to matter how this goes down. The markets, of course, it's going to matter how this goes down. The business world is facing pretty unhappy for what we've done so far. And when you look at things like the scrapping of the huge cap, you look at the tax rises that are coming, you look at the mansion tax reform that ends up taking, you look at the promise not to be spending more cash for the NHS, more money to tackle the cost of living. That's the sort of stuff the Labour MPs will chew your ear off. So I think a lot of them by tonight might be pretty happy. As ever, we're working on the previews, which are designed to set the agenda for number 11. Devil, to use the cliche, later.
Andy, look, I mean, all governments.
Well, Rachel Reeves has urged them to do that. It's a couple of hours until she emerges from number 11 with her red box. She will be aware that there is talk in Westminster about the future of her and of Keir Starmer, and whether they can go the distance given that the change they promised in the election has been slow to materialise. They face threats from the left and from the right. She knows this budget has to land well with Labour MPs, with the markets. She's promised no return to austerity, but no borrowing spree either. And of course, with the public, this government is looking pretty unpopular according to the opinion poll. She says it will be a Labour budget to help those with the lowest incomes, so expect essentially to be a rise in the national living wage to £12.71 an hour, putting about £1,000 into the pockets of people on those lowest incomes. And Labour MPs also likely get something they can push for, which is the lifting of a two-child cap on benefits. Although, how will it be paid for is of course a big question. We're expecting not one big lever to raise £7 or £8 billion. Income tax, they dropped that idea upon the range of tax rises. We expect people with high value homes, savers, certainly more saving for their pensions. So there's a question about how it will all go down when she buys the government any time, any goodwill,
well, maybe
to get
offering you some
through what we
sweetness
know
down
will be
like cheaper energy.
Thank you, I'll see you at 10.
Or just yeah, I mean, a couple of points there, Christian. What the books
Thank you. You don't
tell us what it's doing. Balance money coming out, we're going to go in.
I'm going to go back to 10.
Actually,
Got
there have been
10,
5 times since
10:45, 11,
and over the last 125 years, only 14 times in the last 125 years,
Yes.
the budget has been surplus. Is that a bad thing? Not necessarily, because
with
in
no,
most of those
I'm
years we've had much higher economic growth than in the last 15 because we concentrated so hard on austerity. The Chancellor's job is not just to be a steward of the public finances.
how is your analysis? It's not that
What it means is when the government's in
Is there a U-turn in your
vice
thing?
versa. So when the government's in surplus, that's not necessarily a good thing for households and firms. So on the one hand, people want the public finances.
Yep, see fine.
She'll want to reassure the markets. She doesn't want the markets to take fright like she did in 2021.
You've got all the gear, you've got all
But it's not, it's a bit of a false dichotomy to say if you depart at all from your self-imposed fiscal targets, then the markets are going to sell off. But if you chose targets,
I'll be back at 10, technically, if you want to coffee.
what are they?
Sure.
This is what the government says, in a year's time, we want to be spending less than we're getting in on day-to-day stuff like benefits and civil servant salaries. Okay, so that's been a promise now since around about 99%. The number of times that promise has actually been met? Once. 2000, 2001. That's right, exactly. So you've got and what use is it to have somebody give you a forecast 3 years from now, which is very likely not to come true? So just to give you one example. Well, there is an argument about that. We have a situation where the OBR, which has been there since 2010, before 2010, everything hangs on its forecast. And there's a question here as to whether the forecast there is dragging the economic growth. So, these things start to work out what's going to happen to the public finances when we take the various actions. But to start with the forecast 2 years from now, work backwards, and then set your policy based on that. A lot of people are now questioning whether that's a sensible framework. That's a much longer time to watch for net zero, for example. We haven't found any totally different. Things that you naturally associate with Labour voter. I'm going to be really general about it. Decent salaries, yes, you'll be paying more tax. I was just talking about. Maybe if you've got an electric car, you're going to be paying a bit more tax because there's going to be a charge per mile. And one of the really interesting things that's perhaps a bit misunderstood about this budget is when you speak to MPs from both sides, particularly Labour MPs, they think that scrapping the two-child policy is the right thing to do. They don't think it's popular. And
polling actually suggests it's really unpopular with a lot of people who might actually be Labour voters. So there's a lot in this that's going to be really complicated. And I suppose the ultimate test in the next few days, when people at home sit down and use the budget calculators or figure out all the things that are going to matter to them, is do they feel, one, be better off, or two, do they think it's fair? Because a lot of people, I suspect, will be prepared to be a bit more taxed if they think it's a benefit. The danger for the government is that if we smorgasbord the taxes, that people can slowly realise that they're not getting much, and with the spending already set out, they don't feel like they've seen the benefits.
Well, our special coverage will begin around 11:15, just ahead of the chance of coming out. Watching BBC News, so it's going to look a little bit like here's our first. Okay. What's next? Can we just start? Sorry, say that again. The director just needs to tell us what shots. Right. Could you let us know what shots you would like? Because the camera crew, we have 3 cameras here, so they just need a bit more direction. One is on me, and 2 is pointing that way. Right, did you hear this thing about the cameras? You did? Yeah, news package 54 is on this package, sorry, the number 11 camera is on package 54. Okay, yep. And Vicky Spratt is here, so we can do Harry Oh, do we don't have a third mic, do we? No. Good. Bring her in. Yeah? 4th mic, yes. Sorry, yes. Okay, that's why I'm not an economics. We should talk about debt. If debt were a whole mark, the cost of service. Yeah. That's right. It's a bit like your credit So simply, bond markets evaluate prospects for the UK economy and set an interest rate that they demand in order to compensate themselves for their risk. The UK Chancellor has poor credit because we're not sure how she's going to make her fiscal targets work, then they might charge a higher interest rate. The signs are so far is that they're charging lower interest rates as these weeks, which does suggest that her efforts to appease the buyers and sellers in the bond market have been reasonably successful. Thanks for our guests. Some young old ladies who live this is taking care. So you're going to give the chance to see, I suspect you've seen some audience.
that she's going to make her really kick into the sector. I think the Conservatives have called for to balance the book. So yes, in that sense, I do think she has some confidence. People look at public services and quite often question why they're not working. For example, being in the NHS, there will be more cash in the NHS and more budget. However, I do think we will see sometimes, I don't know exactly what they will look like, but one of the key areas that's been discussed is welfare. Wants to bring down the cost of welfare, we struggle to do it because Labour is very on board with the plan that was announced earlier in the year. But in terms of how you view the big picture of this budget, the Conservatives saying, look, one of the big problems here is we're just spending too much, the state's too big, we need to reduce the size of it. The Chancellor's rejected it, I think she's not going to have big spending cuts to public services. We want to focus instead on tax rises, because we give austerity again the damage.
That links back
well, this is something, there's been so much about this budget and lots of things. It's a new property tax. It looks like it's been which are in London, which is a Labour strike. How will it affect Labour? It's a huge question. I think it's a question of the chances going to what this is about is reevaluating some of the tax rules. Now that's what since 1991, and as everybody in this country knows, we have been transformation since then. And people who have seen this national tax as it's been moved probably won't feel that it's very fair if it's only there the system, which is what was being trailed It sounds very complicated, doesn't it? And my understanding, which we don't know what is it, that's my understanding exactly, but if we can't let it might be delayed until people die, that sounds a lot like inheritance tax kind of stuff. I think that's not so if Rachel Reeves does do this today, she does not do the youth on tax, because they are going to do the election tax. That's what's going to happen. If it's a Oh, absolutely, absolutely. So just below to make sure they can get a buyer. I think it would be not in that sense. What I would say though is that lots of governments I've spoken to are actually in favour of the system. That's because people are going to work much more than they were in the 90s. Other parts of the world are far more proportionally self-owners and rental. So I think just doing that further we don't know what's happening on stamp duty, but I would say all the rumours about stamp duty is relatively damaging. We started hearing this in August. There are people who are not listing homes because they're waiting to find out what's going on today. And that's already impacting homes.
All right, well, thank you very much. National Council when we get the statement you're watching BBC News. But we are in Downing Street ahead of the Chancellor's statement. Very different on the economic side,
why are we in this doom loop? I mean, in a way, people have been struggling to answer that question for the last 20 years, particularly with regards to productivity. So productivity is the amount workers produce per hour. It's not about how much you work, it's also to do with the technology you've got, how much you can produce. In the 20th century, that used to go up by more than 2% a year, and that was why employers could afford inflation-beating pay rises. But since about 2004, it's been struggling to get off the ground. There are questions as to whether we're measuring it correctly. But this illustrates the point I was making earlier. By downgrading its forecast for productivity, the Office for Budget Responsibility puts Rachel Reeves in a situation where she has to find another £21 billion. The word find is inappropriate for a fiat currency government that just spends money into existence. That's how it works. It doesn't find it from some magic pot where it's saving activities. But nevertheless, if she wants to hit her self-imposed fiscal targets, she then needs to adjust her tax and spending rates in order to accommodate that, and that's why there's been such talk of tax rises. But as for the doing, nothing happens. I mean, you've got a huge generational inequality that people are alluding to, where house price rises redistribute wealth upwards from the young to old, poor to the rich. What we've had over the last 5 years is super low interest rates that have made credits really cheap to push down prices. Also, government policy to push down prices even further. And you have this horrible misdistribution of space where the people who need capitals, young families, the people who don't have older rich making benefits have nowhere to sell down to. If they can downsize to suitable properties to people getting older, needing care, then that could be a different situation. But we have a frozen up housing market which doesn't work to serve people's needs. So that's one of the long-term things. Another is just private indebtedness. The private indebtedness that's taken off alongside these prices has meant that we're vulnerable to crises like the 2008 crisis. And we are totally reliant on interest rates. So we raise interest rates in order to control inflation. Who does that hit? It hits the people who are borrowing the most, young people. Who does it benefit? It benefits the people who save the most, older people. Who's getting a triple lock rise in their income and their state pension income? Older people. Who's getting hit with freezes in working age benefits? Who has been in the last 5 years? Working age. So these generational differences are becoming more and more politics in terms of things that they want. It's left young people very frustrated, as I'm sure you can agree. It's very difficult to start.
does, and it's also not sure that the government promised to solve it. They promised to make employment better for young people.
They're not putting up with the minimum wage.
Which is great if you have a job and if you're seeing that increase, but there won't be that much whether this will squeeze out more jobs and businesses by increasing taxes. It's also worth remembering, Ricky was just saying, this is a government that's promised to deal with the housing shortage of bringing houses down by building a lot more. That is something else that's proved frustratingly difficult for ministers to do. They say they're still going to achieve the goals, but a lot of people are struggling to see how that's going to happen.
There's a shortage of labour in the construction industry, as there is, for example, in the care industry. This is one of the ways in which your point about having a policy conversation is really key. If you want to see your workers, you haven't got them, that's what you can do. Most immigration is legal, and that's why we see people from India, from Pakistan, coming to staff health service, coming to do those relatively low-paid, low-skilled jobs, or sometimes very skilled jobs, which we could otherwise find people to do. That's the sort of conversation that politicians are having.
Yeah, we do. I suppose the argument for it will be that you've got fuel duty and paid tax, which will drive especially a diesel car, paying the equivalent of electrics for more and more people driving. But the cost of living is going to be absolutely crucial, as well as those increases in the minimum wage for people. We're going to do a lot about energy prices. There will be more subsidies for people who are on low incomes. I suspect there will be a lot to dissect when it comes to the cost of living. And again, it all comes back to what is the big political message, as well as all the really important economic and housing issues that we're going to talk about later. The big message is one of society. So you speak to Labour MPs, you speak to actually some people in government as well, they are loyal, they are
away. Give me a bit more direction. You're telling me it was going to SOP and then we were going to a break, and I don't know what SOP, so if you could just give me clearer direction, that would really help. All right. You just give me clear direction as to what we're doing. It's a bit all over the shop there. Chris Page, who else?
Oh, okay. I'm just giving out. Oh, I see.
So we're going to the regions, are we?
Oh,
Are we going to regions? Danny first? Yeah. Well, I've just been told 3 things. Okay, we'll do the 3 things. Cool. Welcome back to Downing Street. We are to vote statement, which is coming up at 12:30 this afternoon. Prime Minister lots of questions, lots of speculation, lots of these, what it will mean for businesses, for taxpayers, and for those lower income families. What will it mean for the nations around the UK? Let's get a view on that and bounce around the various nations. Joining me from Stormont, our Ireland correspondent, Chris Page. Let's start there. Chris, tell me a little bit about what you were expecting and how that might habitate to Northern Ireland. Chris, thank you for that. Let's go to Glasgow to speak to Dennis Fraser, our economy editor in Scotland. Of course, they did very well in Scotland at the last election. Do people feel that the Chancellor is delivering for them? yeah, it's really interesting question regarding those licenses. So thank you very much for that. Let's speak to Hull Britain Wales for us. If they're nervous in Labour in Scotland, they're certainly nervous in Wales, Hull.
Changing the
what's going to be in the budget today. Dan Needle is a tax expert and tax policy associates. Welcome to you, Dan. Business this week at the CBI conference called for a bolder budget. There was an appeal for the Chancellor perhaps to go back to the original plan and raise income tax. Instead, we're going to get this range of smaller taxes. What will you be looking out for? Saying that she's going to stick to her fiscal rules. If this threshold freeze that we talked about applied to national insurance contributions, does that for you constitute a breach of the manifesto? About one of the other issues we're not really touched on, and that is this heavily trailed policy of bringing in a cap on pension contributions and on salary sacrifice. What is that likely to do? Danny, thank you very much for that. Let's get a macro view, shall we? John Benzer, who's the Associate Director at the Institute for Fiscal Studies. We're going to hear lots today about headroom, and I want to be sure that we all know what we're talking about, because we do presume a lot of knowledge on the part of the viewer. Can you explain to us what this buffer is and why it is needed? Yeah, I mean, as you say, it's a narrow margin tech, but of course you're always at risk of being blown, of course, by world events. But then Jeremy Hunt did something similar in his final year. It wasn't a narrow headroom that he had. What would satisfy the markets in terms of a sensible amount of money to put aside? From the IFS, thank you very much for that. We should check just a little bit about the problems with growth, but there was some suggestions to be city on investment. One might be ready to spend as long as they get a break today. So they'll be watching very closely what comes up to the stage. Around 12:30, we'll be expecting just after the Prime Minister's questions. We'll take a short break. You're watching BBC News. So, Emma Wall. Yeah. Yeah. Have you got the top shot of Westminster? Their instructions on how to sell this budget, and of course we're learning perhaps for the first time this budget thanks is going to be fairly fast. It's a frosty morning in Westminster. Let me show you the picture around Whitehall. In fact, we've been hearing the horns of the tractors, which are the farmers not happy with what came out of the last budget and how it affected them. There is actually a cordon in place here at the Palace of Westminster today. You'll see that just on the edge of that cordon there, the farmers are gathering a couple of tractors in the rear there. They were driving around just coming out of the tube, putting there themselves known. So we'll get maybe a view from that a little later in the day. Let's bring in Emma Wall, head of platform investment at Reeves Lansdowne. What are you looking out for today, Emma? What about pensions? We were just touching on that with Dan Dino. There is we think change coming.
Is the cabinet behind the budget? Are MPs going to support it?
Pensions, which currently they don't pay tax on. How will that affect investment?
Is the cabinet behind the budget? Is the budget going to keep MPs happy? The manifesto being broken.
There are always winners and losers in any budget. Who do you think are the big winners today? Emma, thank you very much indeed for that. Jill tells you that the cabinet meeting here down the street has just finished. You're watching.
Is this budget for MPs or voters? Is the cabinet behind it?
Bueno.
Their expressions today and how to go out and sell this budget to people like me and all the media that is gathered here in Downing Street and preferentially for the first time what this budget will mean for each of their departments. Let's speak to Atul Kochaj. He's a chef and restaurateur, owner of several restaurants across the UK. Welcome to you. Let's start by looking back. What did the last budget mean to someone like you running a small business? How does it affect you directly?
Are the middle classes paying for this budget? Are voters going to be happy? Is this budget going to save the government? Keir Starmer's job safe? Anyone money for health, Health Secretary? Our MP's going to back this.
Yesterday, which fulfills a manifesto commitment that Labour had set out. And what does that mean?
Well, the middle class is funding the bill for the budget.
Inflation is currently running at 3.6% of October. That's down slightly from September, primarily due to the smaller increases in energy bills, but it is sticky. I wonder how that's affecting your forward plans.
Are businesses happy with the budget? Any manifesto pledges been broken? Well, your MP's going to support this.
Restaurateur, thank you very much. Walk out of the door of number 25. Because of course, it will be set out later today, will have a direct impact on businesses around the country. So let's
Is the budget all signed off?
Gathering opinions there.
Going to save Keir Starmer's job?
Sorry? Right. Right. So, 10 past.
Well, you're back. Well, it goes to 5, I think it's very quickly.
Oh, it's very quick.
Hello, how are you? Good. Huh? Staying out of the way, you know, of work.
So that's business. It's whether she has businesses as well as it's 5%. Remove that.
You'd like to take something out of your bag? Can it help?
Hold there. Remove the energy. And transfer
You know what?
to conversation, which is
We've got live performance, so we'll do that and then we'll reassess the weather situation.
I mean, there's loads about it.
It's going to be a what?
Our toolstools is the pharmaceutical to the milkshakes, there's going to be gambling. Yeah, I think there's a way that we hold together so many pitfalls, so many small things.
Oh, I see. Oh, I thought you did the farmers. Yeah, exactly. I was like, why are they letting that happen? Exactly. Yeah.
Huge profits. Yeah, they've got huge profits. Yeah, it's totally transferring at £22 billion a year by doing something they need to do, and paying interest on reserves. That could be reduced. It's reported that she was looking at. That's been advocated by Reform, and it also is on the left by the Greens. So it's a sort of extremes versus right and left.
10 and then 10:49.
So basically, it's saying
Might stay after 10.
but it's long and furious. So it may be good. You know, with that money,
Get ready. Get ready.
Live from Downing Street, I'm Christian Fraser. This is BBC News. The Cabinet meeting is underway. No, that's changed. The Cabinet meeting has just finished here in Downing Street. Head of Rachel Reeves' budget announcement in which she will lay out a tax and spending plan to Parliament with special Chancellor says she will make fair and necessary choices to ease the cost of living.
Massive graphics read through for
Checks at the top.
Because that's, they want to grow things, which is different, but that has its impact on public finance. So when the total measures, when you mention all that, you put money into the economy, it's good.
Okay, yeah.
Where's the watch now?
Live from Downing Street, I'm Christian Fraser. This is BBC News. The Cabinet meeting here in Downing Street has just finished ahead of Rachel Reeves' budget announcement in which she will lay out her tax and spending plans to Parliament. We will have special coverage. The Chancellor says she will make fair and necessary choices to ease the cost of living. But will it be enough to ease the concerns of the markets? You're on now? Okay. Sorry?
I think it is a particularly significant budget just because Labour MPs are especially jittery. Yes, they won a huge majority just over a year ago. There's already talk in Westminster about the future of Keir Starmer and Rachel Reeves. There is already talk about the fact that the change they promised at the election has been slow to materialise. And while the Chancellor talks about fair but necessary choices, we know that those choices are going to be painful for some. She said that this budget will prioritise the cost of living, and we know that the centrepiece of it has already been confirmed. It's going to be a rise in the minimum wage, the national living wage, for the day 21 to £12.71 an hour. There will also be a rise for those aged 18 to 20, putting a grand and a half a year into those people's pockets. But elsewhere, there will be tax rises.
Just look at the screen.
We'll tell MPs that there is a 20 to 30 billion pound black hole to be filled. She'll blame all sorts of factors, including Brexit, COVID, inheritance from the Conservatives, but she will say that that will mean that various different groups will see their taxes rise. Exactly who, whether it's high-value property owners, people saving for their pension, people saving in ISAs, all those details will be set out when she goes to the Commons in a few hours' time. But there is a sense that this budget really needs to land well in order to secure her and the government a bit of stability and a bit of time to show that they can turn this around.
So do you need a lesson? Okay, I leave it there for now. Until then, the next. No, not me. I'm just, or can I come down? Ah, okay, good. Got it. Oh, no. Yeah, I'm fine.
I thought they were talking to you.
I'm just
I noticed they didn't have the mic on.
Sorry?
I thought they were talking to you. I didn't even know that.
Absolutely, that's no problem at all. So I'm going to stay on level until
really well. It looks really good at you.
for Reeve.
What do you mean?
That's my next.
You didn't miss a beat. It was so good. It was almost as if they didn't play the mic up. Wasn't that good? Fine. Can't hear it on the microphone. They just grabbed it and just went. And you couldn't tell. It was just so good.
Did you see it though? I was
No.
someone
No one would have known it's thing. No one would have seen it.
We watch it.
Yeah, go on. Let's go and have a
Just
look.
before we,
I think it's great. Because the fact that you didn't flinch was so cool. The consummate professional that you are, that was brilliant. I loved it. I got it here. There you go. I seriously, I mean, I was going, why can't I hear you? It's so low. Because that might be picking you up another sound.
Did you hear it?
Exactly. Yeah. So you can see number 11.
You think so? Yeah, it was.
You see number 11.
That's not what it is.
Can't hear you. And then she did this.
You know, and they're popping in, popping out. Exactly. So my next gig is.
I don't want to see it. I don't want to see it. It was really that funny. I don't want to. Someone on Twitter will send it to me.
No one will ever know because look, you just did. It was so good. how you did that was absolutely faultless. You went, where's the microphone? Because you can hear us say that. I can hear you, but the microphone was off. That microphone was off. You know, this microphone cable was coming. You couldn't tell.
No.
It was so good. Seriously, Tamara, that was brilliant. We were watching it now, aren't you? Yeah. It's a Skype. It's a Okay. Oh, okay, sorry. Tamara. Sorry? Yeah. Oh, yeah, sure. Tamara, do you want to read that way that she needs to stop at a full shot of the door? Tamara, needs to start offering a full shot of the door.
Sorry?
She's offering a full shot of the door.
Full shot of the door, fine.
Yeah, they've just called me and said if it's possible if you could duck
I
down.
thought the BBC was doing that, you guys were doing the cutaway.
No, for
Oh, in between.
you know when the gig happens, then I'm doing stuff.
Oh, okay, got you.
Before that.
Oh, okay. We maybe can get that online. Okay. Oh, cool.
sorry. It's Sky. I can.
Hi, Lydia. I can hear him now. What do they need? They're not talking to us, by the way, Lydia. Thanks. Wasn't it great? We had a nice backup standing by. Okay.
David, the director, just said, fabulous. Fabulous. Throw that mic over.
Tamara.
Yeah.
David loves it. Did you hear that?
David.
David, the director.
Dave Gilman.
Yeah, no, I've kind of all
Very heavily trailed budget. Anyone mind coming out?
Aaron, is that a charger? Aaron?
Yeah.
Aaron?
Have you got
Have you got a charger? I should have got a charger. Is that the one there?
Of course you can, I won't be safe. You've got a cable for it?
Yeah, I've got a cable, yeah.
Our MP's going to buy this. Our MP's supportive.
Just put the white back on the top and says that charger straight away.
It's the manifesto hold.
Some rocky road. And there's also some
Sorry, the heat.
there's oils from Bolivia one keep on level. You'll need snippets. Okay, I'm with you. I'm bringing it up. So please. I know it's a bit cold and frozen. Oh, there you go. Good the rest. Energy is above. So one of the all-time winners.
Thank you very much.
It's not nice.
So that you see so many
Coming out onto the stage today.
Yeah. All right. Okay, bye. No worries. No, that was Newsnet, so they wanted to jump.
Yes, we are, David. What do you need? Yes, we are. Yes, we can. Okay. Yep, 2 minutes to you, Tamara.
Sorry?
Yes, she is. 2 minutes to you, Tamara.
To me?
To you, they want to do a live with you. That's cool.
Thank you.
Hang on, might be Mr. Turner. Hang on. Hold please. Can you hear David? Thank you, she was brilliant. It's going to go down in the annals of history, by the way. Maybe real fast.
Am I acting live?
Okay, I don't think they'll need you. Morning.
I'm hearing them. Hello.
David, is Tamara needed in the next one? Just ask him. Just ask him if he's needed.
push the button at the top. And say it's charged when you do it. Use my cable, so let me do it.